Hey everyone, I hope you're having an awesome night, and I wanted to encourage you to stop comparing yourself to other people. Because where you're at, where you're beginning, where you're starting a little next piece of your journey isn't where the people that you're looking up to or looking ahead of you are. Like people who you look to for like mentorship and guidance and all the wonderful things for tips and tricks and tools on what they're doing, they're in the middle of their journey, or they've like gotten really good at this part and they've moved on. So I can be guilty of this too, where I'm like judging the knowledge that I have now compared to like my mentors instead of compared to the old version of myself, which is who I can help and support. So it's very interesting because that's been coming up for me recently, and I had some conversations with some lovely entrepreneur ladies today about our journeys and how everything ties in together, and how it's so interesting that like different pieces that we've learned over the years connect, and like different people that we've networked with come back, and like it's interesting to see like our little human mind of like the connections that we can even make of the lessons that we've learned and the people that we've made, and the reason why we went to that event or felt like we had to do that collaboration, or that we went to a networking thing or decided to like do this on this day, or like had a workshop where it's like it perceived in our mind didn't do so well, but then like later we got a client from it and they became like an awesome long-term client. So like we were talking about those things, so I wanted to like really bring to your guys' awareness more of my story, my journey, because sometimes people, I feel, like do what I used to do, is like put people on a pedestal who are like a little bit further ahead of them, instead of being like they're just years ahead of me on their journey and I can do every single thing that they're doing now. I just have to like be consistent and keep going at it, and I will totally get all these wonderful things happening for me too. So I wanted to let you guys know a little bit more of my journey. And hey Philip, hey Lara, hey Tanya, hope you guys are having an awesome night. So yeah, like I've always been a lifelong learner, and it's been so important for me like since I was young to be an overachiever. So like it just always made sense that I was always going to be learning and growing and continuously bettering myself. And in my head I was doing it for not so healthy reasons earlier, for like the 110% overachiever, people pleaser, perfectionist, workaholic side of me. That wasn't coming from healthy, great places, but my drive and like fuel inside of me to keep being a better and better version of myself was awesome, for me to just be like a lifelong learner, and for me to decide at like all stages on my journey that I wanted to be like the best in this, that I wanted to like learn new things and read books and experience new things that would help and support me in being a better and better version of myself. Tanya says, been so exhausted all day, cannot seem to stay awake. Well, you can always catch the replay, so if you want to catch the replay, that is totally cool. It'll be here for you tomorrow. And hey Christy, hope you're having an awesome night. I'm going to turn this off. I don't know if you guys can hear it when it goes, but I was diffusing joy, lemon, and tangerine, and it smells really good, but it smells very good. I've been diffusing it for a while. And hey Kira and Rendo. So yeah, I'm gonna essentially go through like a quick timeline of my life to be like, even though most of the time when I tell my stories or when I'm being interviewed by other people, I'll say like my big shifting and turning point in my life where things like really took off was 2015. I was doing personal development and stuff long before then. So I think sometimes people get in their mind a little bit like it only took me a couple years to go from like super unhealthy version of myself to like where I'm at today. So I kind of brain dumped a bunch of things to like be like, I've done a ton of things, and like it took years and time for me to implement certain things, and it took me a while even to get into coaching and one-on-one support. I was doing digital stuff or reading books beforehand. So yeah, like I wanted to kind of set the record straight that like people, even though they might have like a story that they say of like their big shifting or turning point, it doesn't mean that they weren't doing any work beforehand, because I feel like that can get people kind of like discouraged almost when they're like, I've been trying this, like I've been trying it for 2 years and someone else has been doing it for doing the work for 2 years, and why isn't it working for me, and I did it for 2 years. Well, maybe they started really like going all in and focusing on that and investing in coaches and mentorship in that time frame, but maybe they were planting the seeds and doing the work and setting up habits and being consistent in things even years before that that really supported them. So you're still in that phase where you're building those foundations that'll help and support you so you can learn and grow on your journey. I'll check into your comments. And Christy, hello, you're up so late. I'm totally a night owl. I'm like 3 p.m. bedtime is like fine for me. I'm like, I don't have people until later in the day. I feel good with it. Tanya, okay, sounds great, love. Have a great night. Awesome. Have a wonderful night. Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Lynn. Hope you guys are having an awesome night. And then Philip, you always have a good and positive thought, but I just happened to wake up and look at my phone and saw the notification as usual. I'm going back to sleep. Oh, Ashura. Okay, sounds good, Philip. That's awesome that you like got the energetic notification to be like, Laura's online. I like that. That's really funny. So yeah, like, I feel like when I was out of high school, so when I was 18, I was able to really like see from a different perspective how other people's relationships were versus what I had been seeing when I was growing up, and I had my first love and big heartbreak and stuff like that. So like I was able to see the pieces and parts compared to like roommates and other people in like residence, their relationships and how people treat each other, what kind of respect and standards they had, to be like, okay, like this isn't what I was experiencing in my house growing up. So like there are ways to improve my mindset on like what a healthy relationship looks like, what a healthy father figure looks like, what a healthy male role model looks like. So I was super into a bunch of like YouTube shows way back when. So like the Shade Hearts, I watched them like every day for like years and years and years, and like I loved putting that positive mindset in my head of like happy families, positive people, people who are running marathons and reading awesome books and nourishing their body with awesome food and like loving each other and really showing up and supporting themselves and their family in super, super loving ways. So that made me feel super good to watch. And those kept planting the seeds that over time I was like, okay, I can start reading more books. I can get an Audible account. And then I started reading a book a month. And over the years, I've done challenges for myself where I'm reading 2 books a month for an entire year and get into like those kind of spurts with myself where I'm like, all the knowledge, all the things. I'm like a huge seeker on my journey, guys. I've always like loved learning, and I'm like, oh my God, this is my next step, devour it. So like that's how I operate personally, but I also have friends and clients who like take months to read a book, and everyone is at their perfect divine speed. So I never want anyone to like compare themselves or feel like they're bad, but I also know a lot of people who I connect with and resonate with are also very much a seeker and super like into like learning all of the things and growing and expanding because they get super excited about it. Like I get super excited and passionate about it. So I'm just explaining my journey, not saying anyone else's journey is good or bad. Everyone's journey is perfect and divine for them where they're on their journey. So yeah, after years of like reading books and like doing free kind of stuff online and seeing what I could, that was like the free resources, so like library kind of stuff and books or audiobooks or programs. I did have an Audible account like personally too, but I would get as many free resources as humanly possible. That was where my mindset was at the time. So I was like, when I was early 20s, yeah, so like when I was 20, I had done enough of this personal development and mindset shifting to be like, I'm in charge of my life. I'm the only one who's going to determine what kind of life I create. So it's up to me to like show up and do this work. So it was like actually on my 20th birthday where like I went out with a friend for lunch, and it was at like Pizza Delight. So they give you like free food for your birthday. And I ordered like chicken fingers and french fries because I like chicken fingers and french fries. Or I think it was like a breast or something because they didn't have exactly that. But I used to be like super, super, super fussy eater. Like I would eat chicken fingers and french fries, pizza, meat and potatoes, raw carrots, sometimes cooked peas. And yeah, like pepperoni pizza. I had very limited restrictive things. So from what I had seen of like people who were online juicing and like running marathons and eating super healthy and talking about having an alkaline body, I was like, okay, so I'm the one in charge of my life. It's not like this random like bad cancer Russian roulette lottery thing where I'm going to get later in life. Like, I'm the one in charge of this. So the waitress actually totally forgot to put my order in. So she's like, oh my God, this is on your birthday. I can't mess up your birthday. So she brought me a salad. And I, being a super people pleaser at the time, was like, I can't not eat some of the free thing that she gave me that she felt super, super bad about. So I actually started eating a salad for like the first time when I was 20, guys. Like, I was a super, super fussy eater. So I was able to baby step over time, show myself that I could do one thing and make massive changes. So I would literally be like, okay, I'm going to add like pickles to my sandwich. And like, that was kind of a vegetable good thing. And then I'd add like romaine lettuce and iceberg lettuce. And now I eat like spinach and kale on a regular basis. And I'm like, oh, iceberg lettuce basically has no nutritional value. Like, I'm at a such different place now. But when I was 20, seeing that like once a month, at the beginning of the month, I can make a goal or an intention and decide, okay, now I'm going to have tomatoes in my wraps smothered in pickles, or I'll have cucumbers. Like, I was able to see that month after month, one baby step at a time, I could change myself and I could change how I felt in my body, and I could let go of the things that weren't serving me. So like processed food and stuff like that that really wasn't feeling good, and coffee was a trigger for my migraines. So I was able to get into having healthy smoothies, and at the beginning they were packed with a lot of like really sweet fruit and stuff, but I was able to get to the place where I could have a very alkaline and healthy smoothie, and now I drink wheatgrass shots. So like over several years I was able to change those things, but it was one baby step at a time consistently. So I feel like that's super important, and sometimes people get like very like shiny object syndrome where they're like, ooh, this thing, ooh, this thing, ooh, this thing, or oh, this like book or mentor or teacher or guru is saying this month, so I'm gonna like drop what I was doing and do that. So it's very important for you guys to tune into yourself and see what you need to do for your genuine next step, and not what someone else is telling you or what feels kind of off, but you're like, I guess I should do it because it's kind of what society's doing. It's like when there's trends, when it's like when kale's a fad, like when people are like all about this or all about that or all about, and they like switch and change, and then you like don't really have consistent habits. You kind of just go with the flow with like whatever other people are doing instead of tapping into yourself and seeing what you need to do. So yeah, I really recommend you guys getting quiet to figure out what you need to do and know what that inner nudge feels like, because that was also something that I got very in tune with at an earlier age, where I'm like, okay, this is my like hell yes and my hell no kind of barometer, so that I was able to be like, this is what I need to do next, and I wasn't like as influenced as I used to be about what other people would say or think about what I was doing. And hey Christy, hey Ellie, hey Alice, hey Vicky, hey Jacques, hey Lisa. I'm kind of in like flow, but I will keep checking into your guys' comments if you have any like comments or questions as I go along too. So after like years of doing all the free things and just like doing the inner work on myself and making my body feel better and more energized, and having that confirmed logical thing of like, I can do one thing at a time, instead of my like old perfectionist nature being like, at the beginning of the month I'm gonna do like all 10 things, and then like at the end of the month doing none of the 10 things, just being like, I'm going to do this one thing, make it a habit, make it consistent, and then get the next thing into my life. So that was really important for me. So after doing years of that kind of stuff, then I like purchased my first like big online program, and I think it was like a $400 program, and I had like watched this person for like a long time on YouTube, and I had like devoured all of their content, and I needed more of it. And it was kind of like a dating program, but it wasn't focused just on like getting the guy or getting in a relationship. It was very much focused on yourself, on knowing who you are and up-leveling your standards, and how to like interact with great guys, and what that respect looks like, and what those interactions and communication looks like. Because I was very much in an unhealthy witness codependent, so very codependent, very unhealthy, toxic mindset when it came to myself, what I looked like, what my worth was. I essentially thought I was broken, or that there was something wrong with me, because like I had rarely had guys who were interested in dating me, and totally thought that I needed to become exactly what they were in order for them to even like me or look at me or be anywhere interested in me. Like I used to literally be like, what's this guy that I have a crush on like, and learn everything I could about it. So like I learned everything I could about like WWE wrestling and like anime and music that I really hated, like heavy metal, like loud, like I don't like it at all, but I would like learn band names and like kind of learn lyrics to songs and stuff. Like I was very much in a low vibration state around who I am and my worth and who I was gonna just like let into my life. It was essentially like, my dad didn't love me, so I can't imagine anyone else loving me. So anyone who's like willing to like look this way, I'll like change my entire life and schedule and behaviors and reality and looks and whatever to match you, to be like, to keep you around, because apparently I'm gonna need to get married to be happy someday. So like I need a boyfriend to like be socially acceptable, as not like this weird person who's like super like nerdy geeky freak. So yeah, that was a big thing that I focused on for a long time, because I'm like, I can recognize that these are unhealthy thoughts. These are the role models that I have to look up to now, and they're not operating in that way, and they're a lot healthier and happier. So like, I understood that I had a lot of work that I had to do on myself and doing that inner work before I could like date successfully. Otherwise I'd attract a bunch of people who would take advantage of the state that I was in mentally with my thoughts about myself. And hey Pracy, hey Kelly, and Christy, love you and your authentic soul. Thank you so much. I love you too. I love how authentic you are with how you share your journey too. And Vicky, you were looking so pretty. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I love the hearts. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, that was like the first big thing where I was like, I need to put money like on the table for me to like get the next step, and for me to show up and like do the homework and stuff related for it too, so that I was holding myself accountable. Yeah, like, yeah, for several years. So yeah, around the time that I was 20, my like New Year's resolution wasn't one specific resolution or goal. It was just like, I'm going to be the best version of myself. And I'm in competition and comparing myself to absolutely no one. I'm just comparing myself to the version of myself last year, last month, or yesterday, or like 1 minute ago. And I can like choose happiness and choose a better state, or choose to eat something better, or make an individual choice in the moment to make my life better. So that was when I really noticed a big shift from what society was doing, because like I hate New Year's resolutions, for people being like, yeah, I make a New Year's resolution every year and by February it's done and I never touch it again and I just feel like a failure in life. Like that never made sense to me. It makes way more sense for me to be like, today is the first day of the rest of my life. I get to make a choice right now in this moment. So like, even when I'm like, I got a new idea to do this thing, I do it now, immediately. I don't like wait until the next month, or wait until Monday, or wait until whenever. Like, I'm like, this is an important priority for me right now. I'm going to do it right now. So that's a big shift that I feel like a lot of people need to kind of get on board with, not like put off their happiness or put off their goals or put off things that they're feeling so called to do right now. Because if the universe is showing up and giving you those incredible nudges, then it's like on you to like really follow that and to like show up for yourself in those ways, to be like, yes, I'm worth it, and I'm not going to put these things off for forever and a day, because someday never comes. And if you're feeling called to do it right now, I believe that that's for a reason, and that you will totally be supported when you do it. Like, I love when the student is ready, a teacher appears, and a friend of mine is like, when the student is ready, the teaching appears. Like, the way that you can be taught and move forward totally shows up for you, and I've noticed that happens every single time when I'm like, I'm ready, show me, it comes through. So if you have to say that and be like, I'm so ready, show me the next step, I'm ready, like, that will work for you. So yeah, after I got into like sort of doing some digital programs, and I started doing a lot more in-person things. So I did some free things again, where I did like female empowerment workshops and confidence workshops and assertiveness workshops and breakthrough for women workshops, and like all kinds of things where I was in person locally being supported. So some of them were free, which is awesome. If you're in Canada, I'm trying to think of the name, Canada Mental Health Association, I think that's what their name is now. They have awesome like 6-week programs that are free for women, and they're only women, so that there's a beautiful container of transformation and space being held just for women, so that when you're being assertive and you're trying to use your voice and talk up more and feel like you're not like second rate to other people that you tend to put first, like your husband, it's awesome to have it in an all-female space, because then we can all talk about how we actually interact in our lives instead of being worried about what other people might think. If that makes sense to you. Because sometimes people tend to like bring safety buddies, and it's like that's the person that you need to get a healthy relationship for. But that's a whole other story. So yeah, that was a big thing where I was doing different courses and started getting into like crystals, and I had a friend in the corporate world who was doing can't remember the name of it, but it was like a several week program on like being happier or more joyful, or like figuring out your passion or purpose or something like that. And I knew that there was something that was missing in my life for sure when I was in corporate, when I was like, yeah, I don't think like this is it. Like, I feel like there's more to life, and I had like the big why are we here on earth questions, and like kind of wanted more spirituality or something like that in my life. So I went to that and got into really awesome mindsets and spiritual work, and did my first like Reiki session and had a reading done, and the reading that she did was incredible and it blew my mind. And a big thing was, if I continued on the journey that I was doing when I was in the corporate world, she's like, by the time you're 40, you're going to be sick. And you're like too stressed out, you're too overworked, like you can't do what you're doing now. And I think I was like 23, 24 at the time. She's like, you can't go at this rate for forever and like just put yourself in the back burner all the time and be like your family's savior and like do everything for everyone and your friends all the time and just be there all the time and not take care of yourself. Like, that's not going to work for you. So that was feeling very true, but also I was like, well, what the fuck do I do with that then? So along the way, like, awesome things happened, and I went to a wellness expo and met my theta healer and life coach, and I've worked with her for several years, and she's still in my life and fantastic. And I did a ton of work on my thoughts and my limiting beliefs in my subconscious mind that were holding me back and that were essentially keeping me locked in this tight cage of people pleaser, perfectionist, control freak, caregiver, like all the labels that weren't healthy, codependent, all these things, to like release me from them, so that instead of being like petrified that I'd like miss a deadline because I was given way too much work when I was promoted and my old job wasn't fully backfilled, instead of being like terrified that like one day I'll like miss it by like not staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning like I usually do to finish some of that work, and be like, I'm just gonna quit this, like I don't care about this anymore, it's not my priority. And like there was a ton of stuff that went along with that. I'm gonna have to make so many other videos about all these things, but I'm glad that I kind of did like a framework of like all the things so you guys can see like it wasn't like a 1 year or overnight thing where I just like became where I'm at today, where I help people as my full-time job. So yeah, like there was tons of stuff that happened at that time. I also got really into an online summit that was really supportive and helpful for coaches. I got into counseling through my employee assistant program because I was super fucking stressed out at work. And I love that the counselor that my friend actually recommended me for became my Reiki master, my first level Reiki master, because she was very into energy work as well. So we definitely tied that in. So I was literally doing my Theta Healing Life Coach session 1 week and was given a book for like my homework. And then the next week I was doing my counseling session and was given a book. And then by the time I got my next Theta Healing session, I had read the book fully. And then the next counseling thing, I had read the book fully. So like, and I could also make another whole video on like the importance of all the different books that I've read. But yeah, like I think a year and a half ago, last time I like really counted them up, I was at like 50 books that I've just done on Audible, not even like the books that I've gotten at the library and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm totally all over the place. So yeah, I learned about crystals, and essential oils, and that was really cool to like be like plants and like nature can heal us and that we have a synergistic experience with the plants on this earth and like we're connected to the earth, and like that whole thing was pretty mind-blowing. I also got into my Robbins Madonnas training for Core 100 then, and I like loved it so much. It was so powerful for me to like see those transformations and have all those aha moments for myself. I also made a lot of really great coaching buddy friends, which was really amazing because the people who I was surrounding myself with in the corporate world and like starting to like kind of maybe stepping into the spiritual world, like everyone was in the same state of like busy but good, and no one was helping people full time and being a coach or a healer. And I loved, and it was really awesome because those calls were like the sessions that we had live were done over the phone, so you didn't see the person you were talking to. And at the end when we were like filling out our forms, most of them were in their like 50s or like late 40s, and I was like, I'm 24. So it was really interesting to be in that caliber of mindset and stuff instead of like my peer group, which you know what 20-year-olds do. They're not investing tons of money in personal growth and doing all these like certifications for themselves. So that was really fun to like change the peer group I was around. I also joined Beachbody at the time so that I could be around other people who were kind of my age in a virtual reality. So like every single week we had like Zoom calls that we check into each other and like do awesome things, and part of it was personal development stuff. So I really loved the support and the accountability there and creating that group of people, because you are like the average of the 5 people that you hang around with the most. So I really enjoyed that. That was super awesome. And Vicky said, happy Dweedall. Have a nice day. I hope you have an awesome day too. And I don't want to say your name wrong. Liane? Ugh, Joy. I like your last name. I love your last name. I'm like, if you want to say your name like this, I am terrible with people's names on Facebook that I've never met. I'm like, I want to say your name right, and yeah. And hi, Julia. And Christy, I was raised where I was sexualized by my own dad. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, see more. That all my worth was on my looks. It's taken decades to find my voice. Learning self-love and healing boundaries is a process. Yes, I completely agree. It is definitely a process to move forward baby step by baby step in healing that trauma and understanding that you're worthy, that you're enough, that your value isn't based on sex and the negative stuff that's happened to you. So I'm really grateful that you shared that, and I'm so grateful that you've done the work and that you're on the other side of that. I'm so happy for you and that you've gone through that journey to support yourself. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so I did make some random notes. So yeah, and then like while I was doing like my coach training program, I was still doing other digital programs. Like whenever something was like, ooh, yes, next step, I'd buy it and just be like, yes, more courses, more podcasts, like anything that resonated with me. I love Lewis Howes, the School of Greatness podcast. So yeah, I got really into all that stuff. Then I started doing my own energy healing modality certifications. So I got my first Reiki certification, and that was super eye-opening to be like, wow, my empathic stuff can be like super up-leveled, and tapping into that and being like, nope, not gonna help and serve other people with that. I'm gonna definitely like do that for my own self-care whenever I like have aches or pains or whatever. But I was definitely, by that time, obviously having bought the coach training program, knowing that I was going to at some day help and support my clients. So yeah, so 2015, I'm pretty sure it was New Year's Eve, because I wanted to see if the place that I was looking at was open or not, and I kind of like walked by the building. So New Year's Eve 2015, I knew I was going to quit my corporate job. So then I was looking at like all the options, and there was this incredible transition, like dream transition job. Like I couldn't have like written it out better, of like they wanted a happy, positive person doing like bookkeeping and different things like this. And I was like, yes. And like I was going to be done at 5 every day so that I could start working on what I wanted for me and building my own life in my free time. So I was really excited for that. So yeah, then during that year and a bit time frame where I totally thought that job was going to be like for 5 to 10 years as I grew my certifications and knowledge base and as I slowly grew my business. That was my intention originally, but I got into saying yes. And when you continuously say yes on your journey, the universe will continuously show up and support you in your next steps. So I said yes to my Reiki certification. I said yes to going to UPW. That's Unleash the Power Within for any of the non-Tony fam people on here. And that was like life-changing to be in that environment and to be surrounded with people who are that level of personal development, having breakthroughs, having that life transformation, and like letting go of the bullshit that doesn't serve you. I'm like all about the breakthroughs. It lights me up. Like that was the biggest thing when I started doing my like coach buddy calls, was like I was on fucking cloud 9. Like I was lit up like I had never been lit up, and like ecstatic after my calls, being like, I helped them do this, and like it was so amazing, and like I was just like so, like it was basically a high. Like I don't really get high, but like it was in my mind like the best feeling ever to get off a call where I was able to help people. And I'm like, I need to be doing this. I need to like help people in any way that I can all the time and just like show up. So yeah, that was like the big thing that continuously propelled me forward to like just keep saying yes to all the things. So like when I got back from UPW, it was like Master University came up, and in my mind I'm like, Master University is like 10K US dollars, so like the Canadian dollar is not as good as the US dollar, so it's even more. So I was like, it's my next step. I have to do it. It's 100% a hell yes in me. I have to invest in this. So I actually took out my RSPs and like my savings, and that seemed like a crazy thing to do to my like old accounting brain, to be like, you need a savings account with money, and like certainty used to be my number one human need, but I was like, I have to do this. So I actually took out all my RSPs for me to be able to invest in Master University, and it's been incredible. It's been like, yeah, like whenever I try to explain to people like life and wealth mastery, how that was, it's like I don't really have the words. Like you have to go to it because it's life-changing, and I had breakthroughs every day, multiple breakthroughs some days, and it was just like the best experience. And I'm going to Date with Destiny in like a month, so I'm super excited for that. So yeah, I'm like all about investing in yourself when you feel called to, for sure. So yeah, when I got into that kind of transition job, a lot of feminine energy stuff came up for me, and I remember the day where like all the stuff that I had wanted like happened, and then like the next day it was like, oh, feminine energy stuff. Like I was in the mindset that I was going to reach some end, that I was going to like just finally check everything on my box of like spiritual growth things. This was when I was very naive and like unaware of like all the things that I didn't know, but I was like, cool. So like I quit my corporate job, things are going well, having a really good like relationship with my friends again, spending time with friends, got into a relationship, like things were going well, and then it was like feminine energy stuff came up, and I was like, I cried. I'm like, oh my god, there's so much work to be done here. Because I'm like, there's so much all the time. Like there's so many different onions that we have to work on ourselves, and then there's different layers of the onions that we'll work on during our journey. And it's like beautiful that we have all these, because otherwise life would be super boring. So that was really funny to be like, when I became aware of it, all the stuff that I had to do to like heal, and then like sexual healing stuff came up, and actually being able to orgasm came up, because I was molested when I was younger, and I was super shameful of that, and I didn't want anyone to know that, and I didn't want my partner to know that, and I didn't want like even my healer at the time to really know that. I was like so just like in shame and fear and nervous about talking about that, and really didn't want to do the inner child work around it. And yeah, there was just a ton of resistance to like doing that at the beginning, but then I was able to find so many beautiful ways to heal that, to like connect with some of my coaching buddies who are even doing that kind of work with women, and to get in contact with like YouTube people who are doing things, so like Layla Martin and Kim Animi, and like even some programs and stuff like that, to like really work at what I had to deal with that had prevented me from enjoying sex, that had shut me down, that had made me not trust people on a deep level, that all the different issues came up around for that. Yeah, I have so many different videos I can make from these. I love this. I love that some people are still on and enjoying this, but I'm like, I have so many ideas for videos right now. So yeah, there was a ton of stuff I had to heal because essentially when we have trauma and bad things happen over time, the way that they put it in a metaphor was that you create this like big iceberg. So we slowly have to like melt away at it and work at things at our own pace as it feels good and gentle for us, like a little bit outside our comfort zone, but healing those things so that we can get back in touch with ourselves and not be so armored and shut down and cut off from ourselves and our body and our pleasure and our touch and our sensuality and all those things. So yeah, I went from literally being like in a space when like I still had like tons of savings from my corporate job because certainty and money was a big thing for me in my old mindset. And I was literally like going around being like, I'm willing to pay $1,000 to any coach who can like help me orgasm because like this isn't fun and I feel broken in sex and like I can't do it like this. Like this is a huge pain point for me and I'm just willing to like work with anyone who will make this happen. So I was also very much in those states during my journey where I'm like, this is my pain point. I need to find the right fit of a coach or mentor or a healer to like help me with this. So that was really funny. I had a conversation with my healer once and I was like, so if this really works, like I'm gonna go home and have sex. So if you get flowers tomorrow, then you'll know. Yeah, I had fun times. Anyway, but then I got to the other side where I'm super sexually empowered now and I help my clients do it and I have no problem talking about it. And that was like a big thing this summer for me, even when I started talking about these things online, because I'm like, everyone can see things online. Like, technically my family members and my brothers could see this, but like, I have no issue talking about that now because I understand that it helps other women. Because there's a lot of women who aren't connected to their bodies, who've like voted their bodies off the island and get in their head and can't connect to their body or their vagina or their pussy or their pleasure to really tap into themselves and enjoy sex and enjoy masturbation or enjoy time with their partner, that they're too separate from it all to really get into it and enjoy it and experience like incredible, like fucking incredible pleasure and excitement and awesomeness that can be on the other side of that. And that's sometimes something that I give my clients is like something to look forward to, because I'm like, it's not fun to make like the Dear Dad letters and like write down all the things that like you've had to forgive people about and like do the hard thing and like cry into your pillow and scream bad things and like let the energy out. It's not the funnest thing to do. Just honestly, it hasn't been super fun for me. There are more easy and joyful modalities you can use sometimes and exercises you can use sometimes, but sometimes you just need to like cry your fucking face off and like let the energy out. So and do that kind of inner child work. So as like a good kind of like carrot for like the end of the race that I give people sometimes is like, you will have the best sex ever. Like, a lot of women can squirt and a lot of women don't understand that they can have that capability and that they can get to that level of like arousal and pleasure and multiple orgasms and all those things, and like you can and it's possible and you just need to like show up and do the work for it. So that's something that was also a really big part of my journey, was being okay, for one, acknowledging that I was having those problems and not being like I'm broken, because acknowledging that to my partner at the time, who was also a healer and also very like open, and we were in a conscious relationship and very vulnerable and brave with each other. But even saying that to him, I made him pinky promise that he like wouldn't tell people as I like started that journey. So like I get it when people even come to me in like clarity calls and they're like, so this thing happened, and then they like slowly kind of test the water, and then we'll be like, and then I was sexually abused and all these things happen. And it happens to a lot of women, like especially with everyone coming out with the Me Too movement and Time's Up and like the Divine Feminine Rising. Like that's a huge thing that I feel is ready to be healed in the collective, and that so many people are waking up to know that they can heal it, that they can be strong enough and brave enough to say that they need help with it and do the work that they need to actually heal from it. So I'm super excited that people are showing up for themselves more and more with that. And hey Leela, hi Divani, hope you guys are having an awesome night. I'm just kind of going through like a bunch of stuff that I've like learned on my journey, just because people tend to think that people that they look up to or that they watch people's videos of, it like happened overnight or in a year or two, and it's like, these are journeys. This is like a long time process for people. So yeah, I did a ton of work, ton of stuff. I also got really into all the different ways that I could support my body. So I also started investing in naturopaths and chiropractors, and I was already doing monthly massages since university, because I was like, this prevents migraines. This is a monthly investment every single month, like non-negotiable self-care. I also got my Theta Healing certification, so I did my basic and advanced and manifesting and abundance certifications. That was super fun. Then I was able to do a bunch of Theta Healing shares, and I got into the mindset and reality of my peers and my friends can support me. So we would do like every other week, like hours at night, and just like help each other with stuff and get super, super good at Theta Healing and getting to the root of the problems, and all the tips and tricks and tools of like the mentors who were like a little bit further on their journey, teaching and supporting us and being the best Theta healers we could be. So that was super fun. I also got into Reiki shares and doing exchanges with people so that we could support each other where we're at on the journey, and have people who aren't like our consistent regular people, like the people that I have packages with and that I'd always be working with, like other people to like pop in and be like, ooh, they have expertise in this, ooh, they have expertise in that, and get like all of the extra like support on my journey. I'm all about having a huge support team. So yeah, then that kind of takes me to like last year, and that's when I got into like deciding that I was going to do this full time, and instead of staying in the corporate world and playing it safe, and like my ego mind kind of sort of wanted that, but like deep down my knowing voice was like, it's time to do this full time. So I became a full-time happiness coach and healer. I did my business plan in like 10 days. I got onto the self-employment benefit program. So that's an awesome program that Canada has, where for the first year of your business, when your business plan is approved, so I have a history in business and I was an accountant, so I got that all through university. So I used like all of my university knowledge to create a business plan in 10 days to be like, I'm doing this, let's show up and go. And ended up doing that, and then have been able to have, like, it gave me funding for a year that supported me, so that I wasn't ever in like scarcity mode, or like had to like lie to clients or be like, yeah, totally, like buy this thing with me, even though it's totally not gonna help you, but I need your money. So like there are so many ways, like even when I tell that to people, that there are literally programs and funds, and like I had scholarships through university, so I'm in the mindset of I'm always supported. So when you get in the mindset of I'm always supported and I'm super resourced and I can find a way for this to fucking happen right now, things show up for you like really, really well. So that was a godsend to have like my first year of business. Like I knew I was going to be able to eat and have a place to sleep, and like my expenses were covered, and then I could just like show up and create things and focus on my clients and focus on the different programs and workshops that I was creating. So that was super fun. That I had that space and time, and then I was in a consciouspreneur program that supported me in building that framework up and getting really good at being an entrepreneur in the spiritual space. That was super fun. I hired a sales and marketing coach, Coach Nick, for a lot of the different strategic ways to show up and accountability and support, and that was super awesome. For like, I think it more than doubled my income within like a couple months. That was like really helpful and awesome. And then I started collaborating with other people who were like in masterminds and people who were in the same kind of field as me and wanting to empower women and do fun things and awesome stuff like that. I even got like a personal trainer for a little bit last year and did a personal training program to get my body a little bit more on track with all the things. I did other like little mastermind programs too. There was a point last year towards the end of the year where I think I was being supported by like 7 people in the run of a week or like accountable to different things. So I was consistently working with my naturopath for some body stuff. I had started to do a personal training thing. was doing my sales and marketing mastermind, did a like 6-week mastermind, was still on the entrepreneur program, still had my theta healer and life coach that I'd have like monthly, but it just like was so interesting that like in the run of that week, and then my theta healing circle came. So like I think it was like 6 or 7, but there was a week where I'm like, I have so much homework. So that is the point where I'm like, you don't need to have all the people helping you on your journey at once. But I've also had people who are like, well, I'm working with this person, so I'm gonna like wait until I'm done that program before I move forward and like do something else. And I'm like, you can just like combine things. Like that was my first question when I started doing the thing with my theta healer and life coach. I'm like, so my employee assistant program is totally going to cover a counselor right now, and this is who she is and this is what work she does. And she knew her and she's like, oh, this will blend beautifully, this is awesome. So I've also had a client who's like, I'm talking to some different people, I really want to move forward in my life, but I don't want like it to mess up with anything. So like I've actually interacted with other people to be like, are we all the best fit for helping this client right now, to make sure that like it's not going to be overwhelming and that they are going to marry beautifully and blend really well, so that they are supporting the client in the best way instead of like causing that overwhelm, which I experienced at like 6 or 7 people at once. But 1 or 2 people supporting you at the same time is awesome. Also having like her friends who can come in and tap in and be like, I'm having a really rough day, like I need to call you and can you like figure out what the fuck it like limiting belief this is, because I've been like muscle testing and doing work and I'm like kind of going in a circle right now. So that's also really awesome. And hey Dana, hey Missy, hey Elizabeth, hope you guys have an awesome night. And thank you Vicky for saying you're great dear, I love you too, thank you so much. And Vicky replying to Christy, I want to see more. Is it going to let me? I'm on my cell phone. Sometimes it doesn't click. Okay. You're a really strong girl. God bless you. Have a nice life. Awesome. That's so sweet of you. And hi, Carlos. Hope you guys are having an awesome night. And hey, Dana. Hope you're having an awesome day. So yeah, I'm kind of just going through almost kind of the cliff notes of my journey and all the things that I've done. Oh yeah, and I did a retreat last year too. So I think it was like a week where I had done like a ton of stuff where I'm like, I need to like narrow down my team again because this is like too much information at the same time. But it was also really great to have all those different aspects of people's opinions, because then I wasn't just copying and pasting, which I find that sometimes people do when they're like, this is what my coach told me to do and I've been doing it for a couple months and like it feels bad and I have resistance to it and I beat myself up when I don't do it. And it's like, that wasn't their actual next best step. So I really encourage people to check in with themselves before they do that, which is something that like I was kind of just doing, like, I didn't knowingly know I was doing it, but by having a group of people that I was always tuning into and getting different ideas from, I was taking the pieces and parts that were hell yeses for me to piece together my puzzle of my healing journey. So that I was able to be like, yeah, this is a hell yes for me. Yes, this is a hell yes for me. Okay, I'm going to put this on the back burner. It might be a cool idea later. Okay, this is like planting a seed. Like, this is a hell no. Yes, this is a hell yes for me. And like keep building quickly like that. Because I was able to check in and be like, yes, this is totally my next step. Instead of getting caught up in like the resistance of like, they're telling me to do this, but it's not working for me. And then beating myself up that I'm not doing what the so-called guru or person that I've put on a pedestal is doing. So I feel like that's also super important to be mindful of, to always, always, always be checking in with yourself. So yeah, that was towards the end of last year. And then this year I got a master theta healer because I was like, cool, I want to like surpass where my teachers are. And I don't want to like go in those like increments of like hourly rates and stuff and like slowly do it. It's like, I don't want to like yeah, I don't want to go up by like $5 increments on my rates, which is what some people who I was looking up to were doing. And, or like not necessarily $5, but like little teeny increments over like months and years. I was like, I want to like jump. I want to like go to the people who are where I'm wanting to be in the next year and like copy and paste their stuff and like learn from them. So I found a master theta healer and that was really awesome to work with them. I also got really interested in Nicole Sylvester's videos and the awesome stuff she was doing, so I got into her Own Your Worth, Elevate Your Business program, which was phenomenal, and it like totally made me step up in my life and be like, yep, this is who I'm going to be now. This is the version of myself I'm going to be and show up as. And I did a lot of shifts and changes from that. So that was super awesome. And then I did the Access Your Abundance course, and that was super fun. Went to Life and Wealth Mastery this year, which was like, again, super life-changing. Like, highly recommend it. Like, I totally have to make more videos about Life and Wealth Mastery because I said I was going to do it when I was there, and then it was like busy. It was full long days, and like we had breaks, but then I was connecting with awesome people and giving my body breaks and relaxes, because that was also like a powerful cleanse for my body, because we went on like a liquid cleanse and I did colonics, and then we did slowly get onto like the raw food and had salads for breakfast, and I've never been so excited to have a salad for breakfast ever in my life. I also did a lot of forgiveness work this year and dove deeper into that work. I got into essential oils this year. I got like super into essential oils and researching them and finding out how they can serve and support my life and raise my vibration and support me. That's been really fun. And I hired an alignment and like embodiment coach, Nicola. So she's been fantastic, and it very much helped me to have the framework of like Abraham Hicks kind of work, because that was someone who I'd hear every once in a while, or I'd see like random YouTube videos of, but she's like very much in alignment with that. So it was cool to get that perspective and to be like, all I need to do is show up in alignment, and like I can just like feel into this and be in that law of attraction state and do those things. So that's kind of like, I don't know how long this video was. I think it's a very long video. But like kind of the Cliff Notes version of the last almost decade of my life. Yeah, pretty much decade of like, it hasn't been an overnight thing. It hasn't been a 1 month thing. It hasn't been like just since 2015 was when I started to like shift my mindset. It's been baby steps consistently over time, and always saying yes to my next best step. Sometimes I'm like, I have a ton of fear to that. I'm gonna sit with my fear and the things and the thoughts and do healing work on why I don't want to move forward, and then move forward with the fear and be like, cool, okay, I'm at a point where I can do this now, and like take these leaps and show up for myself in incredible ways. And yeah, just like always follow your next step is like the big theme that I want to give to you. That like baby step over baby step, by you following your internal nudge over and over and over again. So you can practice that by like getting quiet, by meditating, by having a quiet bath, by journaling, going for a walk out in nature, and like just being quiet and having quiet time with yourself, doing Reiki on yourself. Having that space and time to like connect inward and check into yourself really supports you in nurturing that inner voice, that inner hell yes, that like gut feeling that you have, so that you guys can truly show up for your next best step over and over and over again and be in alignment with that, and just focus on the next step for you without like comparing yourself to other people, or comparing yourself to someone that you're looking up to, or your sister, your brother, or your friend, or mentor, or peer, or like someone else. That you can literally just be like, this is my next best step, this is my next best step, this is my next best step, because over time they add up. Like, people tend to underestimate the amount of stuff that they can do in 10 years and overestimate the amount of stuff that they can do in 1. So we'll have like big, huge, audacious goals and like not hit it all in 1 year, but like consistently showing up over several years makes compounding effects of positive change. Another book that I really like for that you guys might like, that's totally coming up right now, is The Slight Edge. So that's talking about you're either choosing the success curve or the failure curve. You're either making those 2 millimeter shifts upward, or you're stagnant or going down. So like, drinking coffee instead of water wouldn't be one bad thing in the run of a day, but doing it consistently, like when I used to have coffee and it'd be like 4 or 5 cups a day and like tons of sugar and stuff, like over the past 10 years, that would be a very unhealthy habit for me to do, instead of switching to water and being like, I drink tons and tons of water and stay hydrated and drink smoothies and have like nutritional supports and supplements to boost my energy. So yeah, that's kind of sort of Cliff Notes version of the main spiritual things. I have totally left out other stuff that was like not as significance for like shift wise, or not as much money, or like just it didn't come to the top of my head when I was just like brain dumping all this stuff. That served and supported me over the years. I love all of my mentors and teachers, if anyone's watching, who's like, oh, I did this thing and she like didn't mention me. I totally love you all. And yeah, I didn't want to like get into like friends and stuff. I've had incredible friends as mentors as well, who have been so phenomenal and supportive and incredible on my journey as well. So yeah, I'm super blessed of all the support that I've had. The main theme is it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in 1 year or 2 years. So I want to encourage you guys to keep showing up for yourself, because that tends to be a thing, like especially with live videos. People will be like, oh, I wish that I could make a live video like you, or like you seem to have so much like confidence and courage and stuff. And it's because I started doing them. It took time. Like I've been doing my 11 Light show for almost a year now. And a year ago when I was planning this, I would write out on like big sheets of paper what I was going to say and practice it and practice and practice it. And for my first couple of calls, totally had diarrhea because my body's like, scary new things sometimes. And I'm like, cool body, like you did that, now we're going to be good now. And like, then we're good. But I can just get on Facebook Live now and just talk. And I get on my Left and Light shows now and just talk. And I don't do like a big script of like everything I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it, and like I used to when I started. And now when I'm interviewed by people, I just talk. I don't plan in my head a million different things of how I can say something or practice it and like get in my head about things and like try to prepare. I'm just like, I have the level of confidence in myself where I'm like, I got this. I know with 1,000% certainty myself and what I'm offering right now, and I can just talk about it in any way that it comes up. So again, this time last year when I started getting interviewed or getting asked to be interviewed for shows and did my first interviews on other people's shows, I was so nervous. So it's very interesting to just even compare yourself to a year ago and start to really celebrate your wins, because if you compare yourself to the version of yourself 10 years ago, I'm sure you're a better version of yourself. There's so many ways that you can pick out that you've improved and gotten better for. So I always encourage people to celebrate their wins and be like, yes, I am so awesome, like all these things that I've done. So I encourage you to even like reflect last month or last year or last 10 years and be like, I've done a ton of awesome things. There's so many ways that I've helped myself and that I can take the knowledge that I've gained from this time to help other people. So you can really get in that awesome headspace of like, I can make positive changes one baby step at a time, and it can be compounded over time to make incredible changes. So my kitty's up, he's like, you're talking a lot. So yeah, I encourage you guys to continue making your baby step, to stop comparing yourself to other people, to focus on your growth and just be the best version of you. I also have a Facebook community called Be Your Best Self that I'm going to open a challenge. So I've been doing some last little touches on it that I'm going to open up not this Monday, but next Monday. And I'll put that in the links down in the comments if you guys are interested in that. I'm going to probably also just put the information about the program and stuff there because it is totally getting late and I need to go to bed soon. And I'm also opening up 5 spaces for one-on-one mentorship, and this is super exciting because it's going to be a 6-month mentorship where we are committing to each other that you are going to change your life, that you are going to close the gaps between where you're at and where you want to be. We're going to flat out know what's on your dream life list and begin to close the gaps between that, look at the limiting subconscious beliefs that are holding you back in those ways so that you can consistently make change, because that's what I've noticed over and over and over again. And it's great when I have clients for like my 6-week programs or my 12-week programs, but by far the clients that I've had year after year and like who renew and renew, they have the best transformations by far. So I'm actually going to start making longer term packages and commitments to my clients so that we know that we're showing up for a specific amount of time with each other to make transformations in your life. So I'm super excited to do that. The first big rollout of that is now, so that'll be 5 people, 5 new spaces for one-on-one clients, and that'll be for 6 months of mentorship. So if that is calling your name and you're like, yes, I need more support, I need a mentor who can like help me clear my blocks, I need the coaching, I need the healing, I need the accountability and the support. I'm also going to give kind of like Voxer support. I like using WhatsApp a little bit more than Voxer. So that's like a video thing, like a video chat thing where you can just like record it and it's your voice instead of like reading people's long things, so that when people need like quick healing downloads, I don't have to like text out things and be like, would you like to change that? Would you like to release and clear the belief around that? And that you can just like move forward. So I'm super excited to be launching that and supporting people to make 2015 literally the best year yet of your life. That if you're feeling called that like, oh my gosh, it's November, there's only a couple months left and I haven't done all the things that I wanted to do in 2018, and like then I'm gonna have more things on my list in 2019, and if you're in that headspace where you're like, there's so many things to do and I want to be a better version of me and I need help and support, get on a clarity call with me. I invite you in. It's complimentary, 30 minutes, and you will definitely get clearer on what your dreams are, on what gaps you currently have. I'm really, really good at feeling out energetically where you're at vibrationally compared to what you're saying you want to be at, so we can at least get you clear on where you're at so that you can close those gaps even easier by yourself. I also give awesome recommendations for books or other people if I'm like, you're not the best fit for me, but I totally know the next best step for you and I'm totally getting that guidance, and then you can check in with yourself and be like, yes, this is my next path. So that'll support and serve you to make 2019 the best year yet, and I'm sending you guys so much love. Bye.